Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Let's continue studying Master YongHua's Chanchi instructions.
我可以带，也就是刻苦明白，好好带。这是一件事情。我再给你讲一个我最邋遢的事情，我不怕讲出来。
I will tell you another story, my filthiest story. I am not afraid to speak out.
Okay, just one quick comment here. I'd like to make a correction last night. I commented that the teaching, the ordinary mind is the way, came from Mazu. Actually, it's not. It came from, it's not true. The teaching came from Master Nanquan, which is a later generation disciple of Master Mazu. Okay, Mazu taught Shu Xin Jifo, Shu Xin Shufo. That mind is Buddha. That's a different teaching. So I apologize for any confusion I might have caused you. Okay, so let's continue.
你笑我就笑我，是怎么样子？你现在也没有发字，都是我的错。什么事情呢？
Of course, it was not my disciple. If you want to laugh at me, then laugh at me. It is what it is. Now I can't go back. You are all my disciples. What was the story?
我在香港有一个姓刘的叫罗太，家里很有钱，对我呢，之后。他总呢
In Hong Kong, there was somebody whose surname was Luo, Mrs. Luo. Her family was very rich. What happened after she took refuge with me?
有一个愿，要向我求愿。求左一次求我也没有答应，右一次求我也没有答应，求什么？
She had a wish. She wanted to make a wish to me. She begged left, but I didn't agree. She begged right, but I still didn't agree.
What does it mean, 左一次求? Is it begging or left? What does it mean? Chinese people, help us out. Can you picture what's really happening? In English, does it make sense? Back right, back left. Okay, all it means is that she would come up to his left and begged him, and he refused. And then later she would come up to him again, but happened to be on the right, so left and right. So she kept on going at it. Okay, this woman here is very persistent, and she kept on asking. That's all. So she came to my left and begged me, and then she came to my right to beg me. That's all it means. Continue. I'm no Chinese, but this is how I see the Chinese do it.
What was her wish? She wanted a grandchild.
因为儿子结婚了之后，很多年也没有得到孙，没有得孙。
Because her son was married for many years, but she didn't have a grandchild. She wanted a grandchild.
有一次，他又来呀，正在那洗脚，因为香港不是这个这么方便沐浴呢。
One time, she came again. I was washing my feet because in Hong Kong, it wasn't convenient to shower.
Can you imagine? We're so spoiled here. We have bathrooms, we have running water. In Hong Kong back then, it was not convenient for him to shower. It's kind of funny. I mean, we take so many things for granted in our day and age. Yeah. Continue.
所以天天有的时候洗一洗脚，不是天天，那个3天5天以后洗一次。
So every day, sometimes I would wash my feet. Not every day, once every 3 to 5 days.
洗完脚了，这个水我就说，他又跪到我面前来求呀，叫我答应他。我说好了，你无论求什么，我都满你的愿。
After you drink my bathing feet water, no matter what you ask, I can fulfill your wish. Sorry, it got mixed up with the next page. She kneeled in front of me again to make the wish and asked me to grant her wish.
满你的礼愿，你求什么我都圆满的这种。但是你现在把我这洗脚水你能不能喝了？
I said, okay, whatever you seek, I will grant your wish. Grant your wish. No matter what you seek, I will grant your wish. But now, can you drink my bathing feet water?
我这洗脚水你要能喝了之后，无论你求什么，我都可以满你的愿。
That's the end of the file.
You know where he's going, right? I mean, load up the next file. He's going to make her drink his dirty water that he used to wash his feet. Is there a teaching point here? Only for Hong Kong people or what? Huh? You shouldn't be laughing about this. The Chinese might get offended. It's kind of weird. Okay, continue.
因为儿子结婚了之后，很多年也没有得到孙，而且没得孙。有一次，他又来呀，我正在那洗脚，因为香港不是这个这么方便沐浴啊，所以天天有的时候洗一洗脚，不是天天，那个3天5天一个礼拜洗一次。我洗完脚了，这个水我就说，他又跪到我面前来 来求愿，叫我答应他。我说好了，你无论求什么，我都满你的愿，满你这种愿。你求什么我都圆满你这种愿。但是你现在把我这洗脚水你能不能喝了？我这洗脚水你要能喝了之后，无论你求什么，我都可以满你的愿。
After you drink my bathing feet water, no matter what you seek, I will grant your wish.
他这回你说怎么样？当头上就冒汗，冒汗了，就在那跪着，眼光看这个洗脚水。
What happened this time? He started to sweat on the spot. He sweated. She knelt there, her eyes fixed on the bathing feet water.
这么邋遢，怎么喝？我说你大喝不喝？
So disgusting. How to drink that? I said, are you going to drink it or not?
你叫我干旁的勾引，这个我做不到的。
She was frightened. You can ask me to do anything else, but this I can't do.
你做不到，那我来做。我自己拿起这个洗脚盆的这个水，自己有这么一大盆子水也不知。
You can't do? Then I will do it. I picked up this water in the foot basin. It was such a big basin of water.
怎么样呢？这个都喝了，喝了一点也没事。
Without knowing how, I drank it all. I drank it all. There was not even one drop left.
哎，我这一口他就哭起来。这怎么办？
Aya, once I drank this, she started crying. Aya, this, what to do, what to do?
我什么没有怎么办？你有什么求愿，不要向我再求了。
I said, there is nothing to do. Whatever you wish, don't beg me anymore.
这叫你这么一点事情你就做不到，还怎么办？
I asked you to do such a small thing, and you can't do it. What else is there to do?
我说你要头先喝这个水啊，你求什么就得什么，我一定保证你这个什么。现在
I said, if you drank this water earlier, whatever you wanted, you would have gotten it. I would make sure of that.
但是过去了，你再想喝也没有法子满你的愿。
But now, the chance has passed. Even if you want to drink it now, I have no way to grant your wish.
他一喝就常常就哭泣，常常就哭。
Oh, later, she cried very often. She cried very often. Ha, like that.
这人是怎么可以做你的师傅？你的师傅这么邋遢。 是和您讲，是不是这样？
Yeah, these are my two stories. I can be your master. Your master is so filthy. I'm telling you something real.
Okay, so what's the moral of the story? Sometimes it's so Chinese, I don't get what what the point was. He's trying to teach them. Maybe you have to be Hong Kong people, Chinese people to understand. Chinese people, please help us out. Is there a moral to the story? Is there a strategy here, a teaching point, or what? Help us out. Even you Chinese, Vietnamese people, help us out. Huh? What is the point here? Why do you make her drink this filthy water he used to wash his feet in a few times? Yes, 5.
Master, so this is my guess.
Yes, sir.
I think Master XuanHua doesn't want to grant her wish, so he asked her to do something he knows she wouldn't do. And then this basically is sending a message to her that don't come and ask me anymore.
Okay, but she wanted it so badly. How could he torture her like that? Could have said, I'm not going to give it to you because so and so. Why would he make her fail and then not grant her wish? Yes.
I've come across another story by Master XuanHua. In that story, he said what he did was a test for her sincerity, but she failed the test, and later she went back to Master XuanHua and kept on crying over and over again. So Master XuanHua granted her wish eventually.
Okay, so sincerity test. Okay, it makes more sense. He's testing her sincerity because probably what happened, he didn't tell us, is that he says, anything. I do anything to get a grandson. I think he forgot to tell us that. That's why the picture is not clear. Yes, Conk.
On the basis of reading of 반야심경, Heart Sutra,
Yes.
there is no dirty thing or clean things. And yeah, I'm new to Buddhism, so I don't know the words, proper words. 오온이 공하여.
Then get the proper words and ask me. I cannot answer you the question when I'm not clear what you're asking me.
Okay.
Get the text.
Yeah,
and ask
say in
me.
Korean, so translator can help me.
Go ahead.
네, 그 반야심경에 보면 오온이 공하여라는 말씀이 있는데 만약에 이 위시를 원하는 사람이 너무 거기에 어태치먼트 되어 있는 것을 보고 아마 선화 선생님이 상인께서 그 어태치먼트를 떼어주게 하기 위해서 말씀하신 것이 아닌가 그런 생각이 듭니다.
I remember reading from the Diamond Sutra, there was this verse saying that 5 skandha is empty. So listening to this story, I realized that this woman's wish shows that her great attachment. So I believe that Great Master XuanHua probably wants to help her, and in order to sever the attachment, he offered her to drink the filthy water.
Okay. What do you think? I think it's more the Heart Sutra than Diamond Sutra, the Vajra Sutra. The Heart Sutra says, Wanchi-yin Bodhisattva contemplated the 5 skandhas and saw they all empty and crossed beyond all suffering and difficulties. Okay? So I think that's the Heart Sutra, not the Vajra Sutra. that he's referring to. Okay? I don't think it's the case, okay? Because let me tell you why. In that sutra, in the Heart Sutra, when it says, Wan Shi Yin Bodhisattva, the great Bodhisattva, when he was practicing the way, he contemplated the 5 skandhas and saw they all empty. Okay? And this refers to a certain person, a cultivator who has reached a certain level before you'll be taught to contemplate the 5 skandhas. Okay? Because before that, there's no way for you if you're low level and you're taught to contemplate the 5 skandhas like a lot of people do, indiscriminately, then you probably end up wasting a lot of time and getting confused and frustrated for most people. Okay? There's some people who are blessed and who have the potential, have the deep roots. So when they hear it, like Master Huineng, he could, the 6th patriarch, then they could get it right away. However, for most of us who are not as blessed, we are not taught to contemplate the 5 skandhas, they're all empty. Okay, first of all. Knowing from that perspective, that is exactly applies to this particular lady. Her level is pretty low. That's why it's not about the 5 skandhas he's trying to teach her. More likely, it's a lesson that was brought up that when you approach a teacher, be prepared to undergo the tests of sincerity. You can't keep on asking indiscriminately. And in particular, I'm pretty sure that she said, I do anything to get a grandson. And that's why Master YongHua tested her. I think he left out that story. That's what he does. That's what good no advisors do. You come to him with a certain premise, who will put you to the test. Okay, so she's in no position to contemplate the 5 skandhas because she's much lower level. More likely, she's even in the not in the formless realm samadhis yet. For her to be so turned off by the water, it shows you her samadhi level is pretty low. When you think about it, okay? If it were me, okay, and Master YongHua were to tell me that, I tell you what, I grant you any wish you want if you drink the water that I just washed my feet with. And let me remind you, I've been washing my feet in that water 3 times already, okay? So you drink it, I'll grant you your wish, okay? I would do? I would drink it. Because I'm not afraid of it, but her level is lower, so it's like something she could not possibly do. So you see, the test is appropriate for the person. He wouldn't do it to me, because if he did to me, I'd drink it without even worrying about it. And I would probably, while drinking it, thinking, like the way he taught us, thinking it's like wine. I could fool myself as well. If you think of it as dirty, it's your thought process. The thing is dirty, okay? And that's what turns you off. That's what turns her off. I can do the same thing to my mind as well. I would drink it and think of it as like wine. I turn off my taste buds so that I don't, so that I don't have to detect it's not wine. You see? Different people have different kinds of tests, okay? So if he were to do to my disciples, I'm sure many of them would drink it, and then would forget about the grandson. Many of my disciples would drink it and then ask for maybe $10 million. Why bother getting a grandson? You can buy, a lot of grandsons with $10 million. A second wife, third wife, 2, 3 grandsons easily. I mean, think about it. Okay? So it wouldn't work. I mean, that test wouldn't work for us. But anyway, it worked for her. It taught her a lesson. Yes, 6.
From Pingdeng Qingjing, Master, if her samadhi level were high, she would not have been so attached to the grandson, right?
Not necessarily. Some people, samadhi is pretty high, they still attach to silly things. It's just like you guys keep on, it's so typical of Chinese. It said, you're an art, you're perfect. You're bodhisattva, you're perfect. It's these myths that the Chinese brainwashed their own kinds. That's why I was so frustrated. I read about all this in the sutras and the scriptures and what all the Dharma masters talked about, like art is like something earth-shattering, whatever, okay, like the Buddha's disciples. But the Buddha's disciples are actually bodhisattvas. They're faking it. It's not fair to us. Okay? Yeah. So you think that because the low level, the high level also have problems too. It's called cultivation. Cultivation, you're supposed to have problems. You understand? Okay? Listen, you disciples. The more problems you have, the quicker you progress. Do not quit. The harder it is, the more unjust it is, the more ridiculous it is, you still bear it. Okay? Because then it helps you, the leap will be much bigger. The bigger the problems. Do not be like sheeps. Okay? Sheeps is they want something more manageable because why? They're sheeps. We're not sheeps. We're elite. We put ourselves in a position where we face insurmountable problems that we have no clues on how to solve, and they keep on coming at us. Okay, whether it's people misunderstand you, abuse you, mistreat you, whether you're lacking in things or not, this is. Listen. Back then, the monks and nuns in China and India, when they cultivated, they didn't have a roof over their heads, didn't have enough clothing, they didn't have food to eat, and those are the problems they had. Now we have everything, and see how weak we are. Back then, these cultivators, they struggle so much. In particular, if you think you're better, I challenge you to go to the mountain by yourself and see whether you can survive by yourself. Okay? And that's what people do. That's what people did in the past. Okay? So that's because the less support you have, the quicker you progress, the farther you can go. Okay? So let me remind you, the more difficult it is, the more you have to embrace it, okay? And if you continue to endure it, in particular for our modern days people, the one thing that's very difficult to bear for us is that people are unfair to us, okay? People people are not respectful, people abuse us, people misunderstand us, okay? And that makes it very difficult for us to take. That's how weak we are. Okay? That's nothing. That's nothing at all. Okay? It's only words. Words don't mean anything. So the unjust it is, if the more unjustly you treat it, the more misunderstood you are. Okay, the better off you'll be. And just keep in mind, it doesn't matter you understood or not. It's about enduring it and not quitting, no matter what. All right, this is the same spirit. This woman here claimed that he would do anything, so he put him. The Master Hsuan put her to the test, and she said, "No, actually, I would go that far. I wouldn't go that far in order to get a grandson." Okay, and so she failed the test. So apparently, the additional information later is that later she kept on bugging him to the point where he gave in to her. Whatever happened, we don't know. Okay, what else he threw at her, we have no idea. Okay, but anything that's difficult for you to do, wake up. In a Mahayana environment, it's called a test. The tougher the test, the quicker you progress, is my reminder to you, especially in our environment. Okay, our tests are very hard. Let me assure you. Okay, very, very hard. A lot harder. The tests that people are submitted to in our program are much harder than any other place I've been to. Okay, let me tell you, when I was at my master's temple, the test was nothing. To me, they're nothing compared to the test I'm throwing at you nowadays. Okay, and that's why you progress a lot faster, because the tests that that are submitted to you, or given to you, are much harder than any other place I know. It's by design. I intentionally, mix people so that I have a mix of good people, sincere people with insincere people, good people with evil people, so that the tests are coming from all directions, not just from me alone. It's by design. In the other places, for example, they would say, you are not good enough, you're too evil, get out. We are good people. No. I keep evil people here, okay, so that I can train the good people how to deal with evil people, recognize the evil and how to deal with evil. Because once you go out there's all kinds of people. And so there are a lot of nice people out there, and it only takes one evil person for you to lose your bodhi resolve, to lose your resolve. The first hard test that comes along and is thrown at you, you say, back off, oh no, this is too hard. I'm going to go back to my temples, sit behind my four walls, and where I'm safe. Okay? And that's why in my temples, in our temples, I'm very proud to tell you I throw so many hard tests at you, so many underhanded, so many evil tests at you to see whether you're going to quit. If you don't quit, you survive those tests, I can throw you out there and you survive anything. Unlike the fourth stage Arhat, They hide in a forest. They don't see people. People who hide behind the four walls and meditate, they find, they're happy, they're pure, and then as soon as they meet with someone, they get so afflicted, they quit. So you spend 10 years of your life practicing, and it only takes a few weeks to make you quit. It would be a waste. Okay? So she quit because the test is too hard for her. All right, continue. Yes. 5.
Master, the part that Master YongHua drank the dirty water, is there a reason behind it? He could just pull it away, throw it away. What's the point of him drinking it?
The point is to teach us, people like me, people who are more advanced, that especially those who wish to be teachers, you want to throw a test at people, you better be willing to take it yourself. You don't say that, I'm going to give you some spoiled food that tastes like excrement. If you fail the test, okay? But I'm not willing to take the test myself. Then I should not give you that test. That's called leadership. That's called integrity. You don't ask people to do things you're not willing to do yourself. That's common sense. Okay? So when you ask a woman to drink the dirty water, to him dirty water is nothing. I wouldn't have a problem drinking it myself, I don't think. Even though it doesn't matter how bad it smells, as long as I fixate my mind on $10 million. Save a lot of time and grief. Okay, that's why he never threw that kind of test at me. I remember I was so arrogant when I was a novice that the DIBA, my master's temple's monks, they didn't like me at all. Because I look at them and say, seriously? I have to take orders from you? You don't even know what you're doing. You can't, you can't speak English. You can't explain things to me. I ask you a question, you can't answer me. I ask you a question about precepts, you can't answer me. I mean, and you're supposed to train me? So I said, I was so stupid, I showed it as well. It's stupidity, With stupid people, I was that stupid, so I deserve what I got. Okay, I didn't blame them. But these people, look at me. And they said, this guy's too arrogant. Why should we teach him? And I forgot what I wanted to say. That I went through a test myself, and I wasn't impressed with it. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I forgot what the test was. There's a lot of tests in Mahayana. All tests are administered left and right. Every time in a Dharma assembly, someone comes over to you, talks to you, it's a test. Okay? So that's why these people who only meditate all day behind four walls in the mountains or in the valley, they're very weak. And they can't handle the tests. Okay? Because what happens when you that sheltered, you enjoy the bliss of the cultivation so much you become attached to it. Okay? So that when you see ugly people and evil people, you say, why do I have to deal with this? Seriously. We have everything we want, We can close the temple and who cares for the rest of the world? Okay? Yeah. So that's because these people came to cultivation with the wrong premise. This is why I keep on reminding all of you that we're doing this for a reason, not for ourselves. You're looking for peace of mind and peace and bliss, go somewhere else. This is not it. We work hard here and we get tested every day. And I yell at you for no reason at all. And I even encourage evil people to afflict you. Okay? And these evil people, when they're in those moods, they also have kung fu as well. You cannot defend yourself against it. That's how tough it is, our tests. Yeah. All right? All right. Okay, let's continue.
还记得在香港有过这么一回事，有一个人呢很穷很穷的，他家里的母亲呢有病，看医生也看不好。
I remembered that in Hong Kong there was somebody who was very, very poor. His mom got ill and doctors couldn't cure her.
因为他知道啊，在香港有个警察，做警察的，做沙长，他叫李大华。
Because he knew in Hong Kong there was a police sergeant. His name was Li Dahua.
他有个女儿，才4岁，跌倒了，再就不会走路了。
He had a daughter. She fell down when she was 4 years old and couldn't walk after that.
那么他到我们西乐园呢，去拜了几次佛，然后这个女就好了。本来
They went to my Western Bliss Gardens a few times to bow to the Buddha. Then his daughter recovered.
医生治也治不好的，就这样的，外边就有很多人说是我会治病。
Originally, doctors couldn't cure her. Because of that, many people outside spread the words that I can cure diseases.
他这个母亲呢来了，也有病了，他也叫他这个儿子到我那边去想法子。当时我就要他10万块钱。
When his mom was ill, she told her son to go to my place to seek a cure. At that time, I asked $100,000 from him.
本来他是穷的没有钱，我说你想病好吗？
But he was too poor to have any money. I said, "Do you want the illness to be cured?"
想你妈妈病好，你要给我10万块钱。
If you want your mom to be cured, you need to give me $100,000.
这个意思，本来我就问你，叫他要如果 说要什么是什么钱我就会告诉他。
Originally, what I meant was, if he asked me what kind of money, then I would have told him.
但是他也没问，很发脾气的就走了。
But he didn't ask. He lost his temper and left.
我家里根本就没有钱，他和我要10万块钱。
Oh, I don't have any money at home at all. But he asked me for $100,000.
回着家去，就对他妈妈也讲说，这个人很贪钱。完了这天晚上他就中了。
He went home and told his mom, "This monk is very greedy for money." That same night, he had a dream.
做个什么梦呢？他说，这个梦就有人告诉他，说那个法师和你要10万块钱。
What dream? He said that in this dream, somebody told him that the master asked $100,000 from you.
不是叫你给这个港币10万块钱，是你呀用1块钱买的那个10万块钱的那个鹰，鬼鹰的那个钱。
It was not 100,000 Hong Kong dollar. It was the money ghosts use. You can buy $100,000 with 1 Hong Kong dollar.
你烧了你妈妈病就好了，买一张10万块钱的，你烧了就好了。
After you burn it, your mom's illness will be cured. Buy a $100,000 bill, burn it, and she will be cured.
完就这么做，然后他也没有10万块钱就病了。就为什么这样呢？这样。
So he did it. He did it. Then his mom became okay. She was cured. Why was it so?
说不出理由呢，就好像方才这个火仙讲，没有理由，就是这么一回事啊。
There was no reason for this, just like what Guo Xian said earlier. There was no reason, just like that.
这也是没有理由的，这个一件事。
This also had no reason. This is one story. That's the end of this story.
I don't know. He asked for money, so what? I have nothing to add. Continue.
今天我很高兴，可以把我这一节课贪心和这个不清净的心对你讲的。如果
Today, I am very happy to tell you about these greedy minds and impure minds.
不想教这种的方法呢，我也不勉强教你。
If you don't want to learn this method, I will not force it on you.
讲多一点，为什么那样子难吃的东西 也能吃，那要是不清净的水也能喝，什么道理？
Why did I speak a little more? Such awful food I could eat, such dirty water I could drink. What was the reason?
Okay, so you see all these, now I see the common thread of all these three stories. He talked about eating spoiled food that tastes like excrement. He talked about drinking dirty water. He talked about burning money. Okay, so what is the common thread about these things is that he's not attached to any of it. Okay, and that's why he's able to do all those things. He doesn't discriminate whether the water is dirty or not dirty. He didn't discriminate whether it's money, real money or ghost money. Okay, it's just our discriminating mind that turns us off. It's we are so attached that we are so attached to the knowledge. You understand the knowledge that see, for example, you asked me a question because you said, because you have a certain view of the problem. And when I tell you your view is nonsense, you get offended. You say, oh, I'm not sure. I disagree with you. And this is not the kinds of teaching I'm after. Okay, so such people look for knowledge only, and knowledge is garbage. Because that knowledge is meaningless. It doesn't help you improve, doesn't help you become enlightened at all, because these people accrue knowledge, and they proud that they are understand their knowledge. Actually, with that knowledge, if you progress a little bit further up, you find out that knowledge is garbage. It doesn't mean anything. Okay? Whereas the one thing here that he did teach us, those of us who are a little bit more skilled, is that not to discriminate, not to attach to those thoughts, this discriminating minds. Okay, continue.
喝了还没用，任何的问题也没有，这没有，因为那种就是把自己放在一边。
I drank it and didn't get sick. There was no problem. There was no other problems. That was because I put myself on the side.
What does it put myself on the side? She's so Chinese. I hope the Chinese understand this. Go ahead, China people. See how discriminatory I am? And you're supposed to be offended.
Oh yeah, now that I think about it, yes.
You should be offended. I've never tuned into this non-Chinese person ever again. Yeah, so what does it mean? Put myself on the side.
I think it means like put his ego aside, not being too concerned about thoughts from his ego.
Okay, but explain it to me in terms of Chinese custom, Chinese thinking. Because he says, I put myself on the side. Huh? What does it mean? Asian people, what does it mean? Chinese people, help us out. What does it mean, put myself on the side? Huh? Oh God, you Chinese people don't understand your own kind? Wait a minute. What kind of Chinese are you, number one?
我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，我们这个人呢，
Yeah.
Mô Phật bạch thầy, không biết con có trả lời cái câu ở trên ngài nói, không biết con có nói có đúng hoặc sai thì con cũng xin lỗi trước. Giống ngài đó là một người giác ngộ, là ngài đó ra những cái pháp môn này đó để cho chúng sanh nhìn coi những người nào có trí huệ, những người nào có thức tỉnh, những người nào có gì nữa, những người nào có coi cái chánh hoặc cái tà đó, là ngài đưa cái pháp môn này ra, coi bao nhiêu người đã giác ngộ, coi bao nhiêu người đã có nghe có hành những cái ấy, thì theo con nghĩ như vậy. Rồi đó, cái này là một cái, thứ nhất là một cái chánh pháp của ngài, là ngài đưa ra để cho tất cả biết bao nhiêu triệu dân để coi, để học hỏi cái này. Cái thứ hai nữa đó là con có nghe một cái vụ này nữa, mà một người này là một người nữ mà cũng kêu bằng thượng sư luôn đó, mà cổ đó thì cũng đi có cái suối để tắm, cổ tắm rồi cái nước suối chảy xuống đó, cái chúng sanh mình múc đi uống đồ này kia, uống để tiêu nghiệp bình an đồ này kia, là đó một cái mê tín đó. Ngài là đã đi một cái chánh pháp để cho chúng sanh coi như vậy đó, thì coi bao nhiêu người được thức tỉnh, bao nhiêu người giác ngộ. Vô Phật.
Master, this is my thinking, and then I don't know whether I'm right or wrong, but if I'm wrong, I could like to apologize. But I think like Shifu is already in line, so he gave us a Dharma so that we can see the living being, whoever has wisdom, whoever awakened, or whoever good or evil. So he teach us a proper Dharma so that if we listen to it, whether we can practice or not. And this is the teaching for millions of people to listen and to learn from it. And then the second point is like, I heard there's another story that's related to a woman, and then they call her Thượng Sư, is like the supreme teacher. And then she took a shower in the stream, and then when the water from that stream flowed down, people will use that water to drink in order to eradicate their karma. For me, this is, what do you call mê tín? This is...
Superstition.
Superstition.
This is a cult.
Yeah, this is a cult. So that's why we can see whether whatever master taught it was like the proper Dharma.
I don't know. If she tells me I drink her water, I get $10 million, I would drink it. She can pee and I would drink it too. I wouldn't care less. I have a price. It's pretty cheap, okay? Diego. Year 6.
Jane said it means no self. Cordelia said his well-being as secondary and other needs before him. And Venbo Xianxing said, I think the translation should be, I put myself aside.
Right. Okay. Put myself aside is a proper translation. Okay. That's correct. Meaning that this is a teaching point. For most people, it's you who are at the center of the problem of the universe. Okay, meaning that you there and you perceive these problems. For example, I give you a subtle thing. I had a problem with my master's disciples. I look at them and said, "You're supposed to be advanced, And you can't, and your behavior, your comportment is that of a grad student instead of, of a lofty person who's supposed to have refinements, be cultured, and all those things. Because you want to cross those people over. You have to help the rich people as well as the poor people. And with your manners, the rich people will look at you and they'd be so turned off. Like people, so I look at it and say, how can you possibly be teaching the Dharma to people if you lack manners, you lack protocol, you lack finesse, you lack, you too uncultured. Okay, it's the Dharma. Your Dharma you're preaching is so limited. It turns people like me off. I'm totally unimpressed. It shows my face, which meaning that I didn't put myself aside. You got that point? I'm not wrong. Okay, to this point, I still swear to God, I still feel very strongly about it. Okay, I mean, you need to speak different languages to different classes of people. Okay, you need to rise the occasion. You cannot behave like an idiot, like a grad student. When you deal with executive, you deal with rich people, powerful people. That's not how you deal. Then you cannot help such people. Then Buddhism is relegated to helping low-level people only. That's no good. Buddhism, Mahayana is supposed to have the whole spectrum. Okay. Your mind cannot be that limited, even though you're skilled, even though you're enlightened. You cannot restrict your mind like that. I wasn't impressed. Okay. So anyway, what happened is that I was not wrong. To this day, I feel I'm still right. But the difference is that today, if such people come to me, I would put myself aside. Even though I'm right or wrong, it doesn't matter. If people misunderstand me even, it doesn't matter. Why not? Because I put myself aside. It's not about me. They're right or wrong. They misunderstand me. They treat me badly. It's them. It's not me. Can you see the difference? Before, it would offend me. I would not follow people like that. You understand? I have no respect for such people. I feel that it's necessary. There's certain standards for teachers and certain refinement for teachers. I saw in Master YongHua. I didn't see it. So, you're supposed to train me and replace him to train me? And what happens, I put myself in the center. And that's why when I was treated that way, I became offended. I was disappointed. Okay? Because I was not taught to put myself aside, because it's not about me. It's only a test. Okay? So what are we supposed to do? Suppose, I remember I went to Calgary, and this idiot, frankly, this senior monk is a total idiot. He doesn't know anything. He has so many problems. And I look at him and say, you're supposed to be with Master YongHua for 20 years? And you don't know anything? You have no kung fu whatsoever? My kung fu is even higher than you. And you're supposed to train me. You're supposed to be my senior. Seriously? I was so stupid. So I was not wrong. Okay? So one day, he forced me to teach meditation. I taught meditation. I have a lot of followers. They came to my meditation classes regularly. I have a bunch of regulars, several people, who I was a novice back then, and several people came to me and they followed me, and they got so excited after the Dharma talks every night. They would meditate for an hour, and then I would speak Dharma for them for 20 minutes, and then after the Dharma, we ended, and I told in our tradition, in Chan tradition, as soon as you're done speaking your Dharma, you go straight back to your room. You don't talk to people. Okay? That's our protocol. You don't talk to people at all. This is a Chinese style. So I went straight back to my room, and guess what? On the way back, my students were so happy. They said, Master, they got so excited, and they wanted to ask more about what we were talking about. Can I ask you about what it means? We only had 20 minutes plus translation. That's only 10 minutes. So a lot of things they wanted to talk to me about because they didn't get answers before. So they stopped me and say, Master, how about this, how about that? Can you clarify this for me, why you said so? And so I ended up every single night, Tuesday, Thursday nights, I had to teach Chan classes. Tuesday, Thursday nights, they stopped me every single time. I never could get back to my room to be pure, go back to my room, not talk to anyone. And the guy came back. He traveled a lot. Master YongHua had a lot of properties in Canada, so he's always traveling around managing those properties. That's his role. So he came back and he saw me. Wait a minute! I told you not to talk to people. This is the Chan standards in our temples. You're not supposed to talk to people. And why did I tell you? And you keep on breaking my rules. Okay? So I said, what did I do? He said, what do you have to say for yourself? Why do you keep on violating my directive, my direct order? Look at him, I said nothing. Why not? Because of Master YongHua's directive. Do not justify yourself. It's a very hard thing to do. Think about it. Do not justify yourself even when you're misunderstood. Those people, the students there, they're so happy. Finally, they got someone who can speak to them and can finally learning how Chan can be so useful to them. They've been improving. They're getting so much out of Chan classes, so they kept on coming to the temple more frequently. And so we have I have steady followers. Even newcomers would come, and because they like what they're getting. They like to finally have someone who can talk to them. Okay, and talk about their problems and get help for their problems. Not that I knew that much how to solve the problems, to solve the problems. But the one rule that I remember is Master YongHua said, do not justify yourself. So I didn't say anything. Okay, so he punished me. Okay, for that he made me carry stones. The building was full of stones. A lot of in that dirt. There's a lot of stones. Okay, so he forced me to carry a stone. So we have a wheelbarrow, load up in the stones, and pick it up the stones from the front of the land in front of the building there. I would take the stone, clean up all the stones, and carry them to the side. Okay, so I did that every single day, every morning and afternoon. After 2 weeks, my back nearly broke. My back froze for 3 days. Yeah. And so he punished me, and then he says, because you keep on violating my things, not only did you not obey my orders not to speak to people, you also order people to make copies. I said, it's not a misunderstanding as well. The guy, has a huge temper, and he blew his top at me and blamed me for this, blamed me for that. One thing after another, to the point where one day he said, I have enough for you. Today you don't get to eat. I said, okay. I still have to get up in the morning, carry those heavy steel doors to the side, unlock it, do the ceremony, morning ceremony, lunch ceremony, go down the lunch hall, more ceremony, and then get up and leave. And then go back and do evening ceremony, and get up again, and morning ceremony, and so forth. And I did it, so I said, okay, I don't eat. Great, okay. I still have to work. And so he did something very decent, which impressed me. I didn't eat, he didn't eat either. But the guy was suffering. I was so happy not eating. I feel so peaceful. You know what I mean? One day, big deal. Okay, and I felt so peaceful. And the guy, even though he had to drink coffee loaded with creamer and sugar to give him energy to work, because he's very afflicted as a person. He didn't eat, but he would drink. Okay, I didn't eat, I didn't drink. Okay, and he was so miserable. The following morning, look at me doing the morning ceremony. He said, okay, he's really very unhappy. Okay, depleted of energy. So it came lunchtime. I did the whole thing again, morning ceremony, lunch offering, go down to lunch hall, do more ceremony, you know. Okay, and then I'm done. This is Saturday. Okay, so the first day is Saturday, so everyone knew I was being punished. Okay, so I lost face, but I didn't justify myself. Next day is Sunday. People came to see me, especially my students, my Chan class students came. And so after lunch offering, I was done, put down the handbell. I looked at him, he looked at me, and that morning during the lunch ceremony, I said, I feel so good, let's fast another day. So I look at him, he looked at me at lunch table, because there's only two of us. So we sit across each other. I look at him, look at me, I look so happy, I was so peaceful. I said, oh God, feels so good. No food in your stomach and you feel so light and so forth. I look at him, look at me, and he knew that I was doing very well. So his face was like, are you going to embarrass me now? You're not going to eat again, torture me, make me go through another day without food in my stomach? And guess what? I looked at him and said, nah, I'm not going to fast. And I picked up my chopsticks and picked up some food, okay? His face was so relieved. He's so happy. The point is that the whole time, I still in the middle. I didn't put myself to the side. I was fighting. Okay, the difference is that Master Xinhua says, the difference between people like us and Master Xinhua is that, hey, he can drink the water, he can eat the thing, he can ask for money, okay, but he's put himself to the side. He's not at the center of the problem. The guy got upset at him for asking for money. I said, I don't care. Yours, your affliction, not mine. Huh? You misunderstand me, and you afflicted at me. Okay? If I say, why you treat me so wrong, you misunderstand me, then aren't you getting afflicted as well? So now you have a conflict. All you have to do is put aside, like Master Xinhua, put yourself to the side, so the person get afflicted, but you not. That's Kung Fu. That's Buddhism. That's wisdom. You understand? That's the first step. That's what you all have to learn. People will come and afflict you for all the wrong, for the right reason or wrong reason, doesn't matter. They're afflicted. They dump it on you. What are you going to do? Yes, 8.
Master, what was the reason that the senior man has to fast with you?
He's a decent guy. He says, if I'm going to punish him, if he doesn't get to eat, I don't get to eat either. I will suffer with him as well. That's what I like about this guy. He's decent. Decent guy. He's a nasty person, but he's a very decent person. He took himself upon himself to train me. He taught me a lot of things. But Master Hsuan taught him. Okay? He's one of the best teachers I had over there, by the way. What he did for me was something I'm very grateful for. He said, instead of the other teachers, the other people who said, you should do this, you should do that. He says, Master YongHua told me to do this, told me to do that. Then I learn. If you tell me, you should do this, you do that, and then I look at you and say, but you're in no position to teach me. You can't talk to me like that. You can't waste my time like that. You can't mistreat me like that. And what is, you're supposed to have compassion. How can you force me into physical labor to the point of wrecking my back? Huh? And so, you can look at people and see where they're wrong and you're right. It works both ways. The point is that cultivation is not about that. Cultivation, this is a very important point, folks. The reason you fail your tests and you can't take it and you quit is because you are still at the center of the conflict, of the affliction. Okay? Somebody's afflicted to come at you, dump the affliction on you, yell at you, blame you, fault you. Okay? They're afflicted. And what do? You fight back. So you afflict as well. So you take the afflictions, make them your own afflictions, and now you're fighting. And that's why you're miserable. Master Hsuan did is I put myself to the side. You think I'm greedy for money? So be it. You think I'm unreasonable? So be it. Huh? It's your affliction, not my affliction. That's the difference between someone who understands cultivation or someone who doesn't. I didn't. Unfortunately for me, for 4 years, no one ever taught me that. For 4 years, I've walked away so disappointed. I said, all these people, they're supposed to be advanced, supposed to train me, but they're so afflicted. How can I learn from people like that? I don't want to be like them. I've seen nothing that would impress me enough to say, I want to be like that. I want to go in that direction. You understand? In Buddhism, you teach by example. You don't talk, you do. You do the right things and people say, I like this. I like the fact that guy who forced me not to eat by way of punishment, he says, if I make you suffer, the decent thing for me to do is I will suffer too. I like that. I learned that from him. When I punish you, I will also suffer as well. Except when you fast, I don't want to fast. Too much suffering. There's so much I can take. You understand? It's a decency here. And that's why after 4.5 years, I look at him and say, but I don't want to be like you at all. None of you. I don't want to be any of you. If you're a patriarch or not, I don't want to be like you at all. It's not why I'm doing this. So I put myself in the center. And unfortunately for me, I walked away bitter and disappointed because no one ever told me. At least someone told me, if he said it here, put yourself to the side. Put yourself aside. Then who's getting afflicted? They're getting afflicted, not you. Who has wisdom? You or them? You understand? There's a chance for you when someone dumped the affliction on you for whatever reason, whether they're right, whether you were right, it doesn't matter. You step aside and don't get afflicted. That's the first step, the first lesson you learn. That's what he's teaching you here. You keep on fighting. You keep on saying, I'm right and you're wrong. And that's why you're so miserable. I will teach you a step further. It's not just put yourself aside. Okay? It's like you are on the road. Okay? You're important. Where you put aside yourself is that you're not important anymore. This is a concept. You understand? You walk down this aisle here because that's for important people. You people are not supposed to walk on this aisle. You walk on the other aisles. You understand? In Buddhism, in a temple, you don't walk down this aisle. This is for VIPs only. You walk on that side. You go from that side over here. Okay? Unless you do ceremonies, which is for VIP doing ceremonies, then you can walk down this aisle. But when you don't do ceremonies, you have to walk on the side. You understand? This is a protocol in a temple. I don't know the Koreans do that. In Chinese, this is what you do. If you walk down that main aisle, for example, you walk in there, you walk down the main aisle, you're very arrogant. To the Chinese, they look down upon you, you're so arrogant, you have no manners. You always walk to the side, you go in. Got that? See, when we relax here, it's America. I can't care less. You're arrogant or not arrogant. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, I'm not in the center. Remember? Okay, so that's why there's a problem when you are at the center. Okay, there is a you there. That's why you suffer. That's why you're afflicted. You go to the side. Okay, so that it's not your problem. It's a VIP, it's a president, it's foreign dignitaries go down the road and you stand on the side, cheering them on. That's all you do. You're not important. You're there as a part of the scenery. You're not important. That's why putting to your side, you're not important. You're not. It's not about you. It's about someone else. Is that clear? The concept is very important. Put yourself to the side, meaning it's his Chinese way of saying, do not put yourself in the center of conflict. Does it make sense? Why are you afflicted? You're afflicted because you're in the center of conflict. Yes, 9.
Master, so is to say that to not be in the center is to not
to yield. It's not you.
Yeah, like not make it personal.
Right.
You put yourself aside. That's
right.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Thank
That's
you,
all. You yield. You say, I'm not going to fight you. You're right. You're wrong. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to fight you because that's why I'm going to teach you the next step. This is only for Hinayana people. They step aside. I'm teaching you a step further because I'm not interested in going aside. If you go aside, then you're Hinayana. These people who learn Hinayana, Mahayana. I'm teaching you Mahayana. First of all, you need to put yourself aside. Do not fight people. Yes, 6.
D. Whiskey is asking, so it's better to be careless, basically?
Careless what?
When you put yourself aside, so it's like you're careless, you don't care.
It's not careless. It's not you don't care. It's just that you are not gonna fight them. Okay? You yield to them. Now let me explain a little bit further and it might be clearer to you. Okay? Unless you put yourself to the side, you cannot go to the next step. And next, that will be clearer to you. Why? Okay? We don't put ourselves to the side alone. This is incomplete. This is why his disciples put themselves to the side. But they never went any further. I'm teaching you something he didn't teach his disciples so that you can go further. Okay? So, you put yourself to the side. Okay? Because what you do is, here, let me explain to you. That person is dumping their afflictions on you. Understand? There's a person here. As long as you stand here, they're taking a dumping on you. Understand? He said, you are so wrong. How could you be so careless? How could you be so selfish and so forth? How can you be so and so and so? They dump their affliction on you. You see? You stand here, you're the recipient of that. Got that? You are a garbage dump. They keep on dumping on you. Okay? And anything you say back, they're going to keep on dumping on you. Okay? So if you put aside, you go put yourself aside. Okay? Meaning you don't react to them. They're dumping on you, but you don't do anything. Okay? They keep on dumping and dumping so that you put yourself aside. What does it mean? That they keep dumping on you, but as you put yourself aside, say, so dump on me. Dump on me. It's okay to dump on me. Okay? That's the first meaning of putting yourself aside. Okay? If you do that, then eventually you will have no more self. This woman here, when you go to her kitchen and you waste her water and you waste her food, she's so upset. She will tell you, how can you waste the temple water? How can you waste the food? Put yourself over here like me. She's right there, you over here. Okay? And what people do, they say, hey, I came to the temple to plant blessings. Why are you stopping me? Okay? So what happened is that now you're butting heads. The reason she's there, and I'm trying to tell her to allow people to wait so she don't listen to me, okay? But still there, because I'm using the opportunity to teach you, do not butt heads with her because her head is a lot harder than yours. You've been doing that, you know you lose. You walk away hurt because her head's much harder than yours. I made sure her head is much harder than yours, okay? So you walk aside, you don't butt heads with her. Let her dump her afflictions on you. How can you waste water? How can you waste people temples of money? How can you waste gas? Okay, how can you be so untidy? Okay, she's dumping on you, right? What do? You walk aside, okay? You put yourself aside. You don't fight back. Let her dump, okay? And then what do? Look at her affliction. She's suffering. You know. You understand? If you stay here, you fight her, okay? Then you're suffering just like her. She's afflicted. She's dumping her affliction on you. You step aside, meaning you don't fight her. Let her dump on you. Look at her affliction. That's called kindness, beginning of kindness and compassion, which Master YongHua never taught his disciples. They don't give a hoot about you. They only put aside, they stand aside, but they never learn how to be kind and compassionate. I want you to be different. Look at that. Why is she so afflicted? Look at how much she's suffering, how stupid she is. How much damage she's doing to me, to everyone else, because she's my representative. The kind of offenses she's creating for herself and for me. She'll pay very dearly for that. You know that? Why do you want to? If you see that, then why would you want to add more to her misery? To step aside, avoid the escalation, and look at that and feel, look at how afflicted she is. That you don't want to add more to her afflictions, do you? That's called kindness. That's called compassion. That's called being a superior person. Look, that's how people are in the world. They get afflicted, they dump on you. So what do? Step aside. Take it because it makes you stronger, remember? The more they beat up on you, the more a person like her is strong, and you beat on you, dump her affliction on you, and you take it, your kung fu increases. Use it. That's what I did. Before I left, I let them beat me up. That second patriarch beat me up. So is that all you got? That's all? Then, when I leave, I have no more regrets. Because that's all you got. I'm going to be better than that. You understand? You don't get afflicted. You let them beat you up. You let them dump the affliction on you. And you look at them. See how limited you are, how afflicted you are, how stupid you are in creating offenses, how underhanded you are, how such a liar you are. All those things, when people do it to you, you don't get afflicted. You understand? Yeah, you stupid. I'm not going to get afflicted at you. When you're able to do that, you're above them. What makes you think you have to cross your legs in order to be better than others? You can cross your legs for 20 more years, but if you keep on butting heads with people, you get nowhere. I teach you one way that you can surpass them that quickly. Six.
From Derek, Master, the do not justify yourself rule. Is that something for left home people or lay practitioners should be trying to do this as well?
For everyone. It's a very hard thing to do. It took me 10 years to figure out what it means. Because I let idiot monks, Master Shua, who were disciples supposed to train me, do the stupid things. I said, I'm not going to justify myself. You see what happens. You pay the price. You understand? Step aside. That's what it means. Step aside. Do not fight back. Do not get afflicted. Don't justify. That's part of that. Don't justify. You're not afflicted. Why bother justifying? What are you afraid of? They're going to abuse you, punish you, don't allow you to eat, break your back, make you break your back. So what? What are you afraid of? Okay? But you have to step aside, meaning you accept it, embrace them, and then look at the affliction. Instead of look at your own affliction, look at the affliction to see how afflicted, how unhappy, how stupid they really are. You rise above them. Sudden teaching. So that's why people came into my temple and said, how come, someone in charge, they're so afflicted? And said, it's for a reason. I want evil people around to afflict you. Yes, too. You got it now? It's by design. Yes.
Emitofuo, Master. What if I can put myself aside And what is my next step to help that individual to have less afflictions?
When you put yourself aside, okay, you're helping, in a sense, you're not escalating. They're picking a fight with you. So you're helping them not to increase the amount of offenses they are creating. Furthermore, when you look at their affliction, you see how stupid it is. Why would we be so afflicted over water, a piece of food? Who cares? Huh? It's not like we don't have food. It's not like we don't have water. It's a different story, okay? If we have no water whatsoever, if we have no food whatsoever, then every single grain of rice counts. I understand that, okay? But this is not the case. So it's nonsense. It's just like, it's crazy idea you cannot waste, because Master YongHua said you cannot waste. That's why I have to teach all of my disciples. It's okay to waste, boys and girls. We are not Master YongHua's temples. It's my temples. It's perfectly okay to waste. Okay? And it's because it helps you diffuse the situation by not adding oil to the fire. Okay? And look how stupid that person is. And what does it mean? It means that if you want to be better, you should not be attached like this. Meaning that whatever attachment they have that makes you afflicted, you say, I'm not going to be like that. That will not be my attachment. Does it make sense? Okay? Meaning that if people waste food, if people yell at me, people are unfair to me, people misunderstand me, okay? They dump my affliction on me. I look at that and say, okay, I will allow people to misunderstand me. I allow people to yell at me for all the wrong reasons. Whether I'm right or wrong doesn't matter. I will not. I will embrace it. It makes you a superior person. Because not many people can be like that. You see, it's very, very private. It's not like, oh, everyone recognize you as a superior cultivator. Only you yourself know, and your master knows, your teacher knows. That's enough.
Thank you, Master.
Because the alternative is that you keep on butting heads your whole life because you're right and they're wrong. It's misery. It's a life of misery. Think about it. Why do we have to choose to be miserable? Let them be right. Even if they're wrong, let them be right. It doesn't matter to us. We don't get afflicted. That's called wisdom. There's no wisdom in getting afflicted for whatever reasons. Zero wisdom. Life is not about right and wrong. It's about not getting afflicted, no matter what. And it helps to look at their affliction and see how miserable they are. Because you say, like Master YongHua, I put myself aside, so what it means is eventually you say, I don't care. I don't care you yell at me or not. I don't care you're right or wrong. I'm going to put myself aside. But that person is miserable. Okay? Until you have a mind, the thought arises, oh, what can I do to relieve her afflictions? That's from kindness, from compassion. Okay? That's when you can help others. Because putting yourself aside is helping yourself. It's not enough. Not for me. I'm never impressed by such people. I saw that in Master YongHua's disciple and said, I don't want to be like this. Life is not about yourself. Life is about having meaning. Life is for doing meaningful things with that opportunity. Don't waste it. It's not about you at all. I have to be better than anyone else. It's so petty, so small, so meaningless. You're only better than someone else because you cannot see how many people are so far better than you. I look at people who are better than me. I don't care if people are not as good as I am. I was wrong. I keep on looking at them and say, his disciples say, is that all? Is that what I'm doing? This is what I'm going to become if I go into this path? No, look at people who are better than you. If you look at them, you turn off. If you look at them, it's in order to develop kindness and compassion, not to feel superior. It's a wrong premise. That's why you're miserable. You want more and more recognition. You want to be more right. That's why you're so miserable. And that's why she's miserable. She's right. She insists on being right. She's never wrong. And they like that. They're right. You mess with them, they're just Hinayana, Mahayana. That's all. But I'm patient. I wait for the chance to teach them the Mahayana way. Yes, 9.
So it's like, do not consider yourself too serious. So, and I remember hearing you several times, do not take yourself so serious.
Right. It's no big deal. Look, instead of looking at your own suffering, look at their suffering. It will change your perspective. Even if they're stronger than you, beat you up and they hurt so bad, say, oh, it really hurts. This woman is so stupid. She's hurting herself more than she's hurting me. You know that? That's called kindness and compassion. She's manipulating me. She's lying to me. She's fooling me. Okay, how disgusting! That's a wrong reaction. How stupid she is. Okay, because if she's like that, who's going to teach her? It's so evil. Why would you want to help someone become even more evil? So you should have pity for them. Understand? Instead of punishing them. You look at their affliction. That's how you open your wisdom and open your heart. Stop being so self-centered. Stop taking yourself so seriously. It's no right and wrong. Step aside and look at their affliction, how stupid they are, how much they're suffering. Is that your own suffering? If you look at your own suffering, it's endless. It's never any end to it. You never have enough money. You never have enough attention. You never have enough recognition. You never have enough gratitude. People just take you for granted. That's the way it is. Stop bitching. Got your attention? That's what people do. They moan and complain and they bitch. Because they can't handle it. They're suffering so much, It's not just you, it's just your husband, your boyfriend, your mother, your father. It's all the same. They can't handle it. They can't hack it. Yes, 9.
Master, Thanks God. We are here.
Okay. Yes. Face mask.
Yes, Master. For this retreat, I have a chance to work in the kitchen more closely with more than before. There is a situation in the kitchen where we have different people want to jump in and help with the preparing for the food. So some people are more experienced on dealing with certain food, and some are not. So, like one of the example, recently there's a person who wanted to volunteer for frying French fry, and the way how the person was doing it was not correct. Another person who more experienced jump in and say, "You don't supposed to do that," and don't.
She's afflicted, wasn't she?
Yeah.
God, how can you do it so wrong? Oh God, this is sacrilegious. This is a temple. You cannot do that wrong.
No, not that way, but.
Well, that's inside.
Yeah, so.
So afflicted. I mean, oh, God.
But so that time, it's just that a lot of things was going on. So the other person was trying to show them to do the right way, otherwise spoil the whole thing. At that moment, the person who less experienced, if we look at it and say, "Oh, she's afflicted," and and just concentrate that would that person, learn the lesson or.
You're not the teacher. What you're doing, you remember, fundamentally, the first thing you do is not add oil to the fire. You step aside. The first step. Second step is you need a little while before you develop the skills to know how to diffuse the situation. But you have to first learn to step aside and harbor kindness and compassion in your heart, which says, what can I do to help this person, this stupid person? And you say, I don't know how. Okay? And eventually, in time, you will. But you need to start with that. Instead of fighting, you fight like this. All your energy is spent on fighting. It leads to nothing positive. When you step aside, you have energy to spend on trying to figure out how to deal with the situation. Because you're not too busy fighting and defending yourself and making matters worse. Of course, it takes a while before you know how to diffuse the situation. Okay? Yeah. Yes, Q&A.
Master, how would you teach Warren Buffett, since you mentioned he was a good cultivator?
I'm sorry, what's the question again?
How would you teach Warren Buffett then? Since you mentioned you would teach your former superiors, I was just wondering what you would teach Warren Buffett if you had the chance.
Warren Buffett, how to be a better cultivator? Is that what the question is?
Yes.
I would never dream to do that because Warren Buffett is far better than me in all aspects of life. Okay, let's face it. He has more money, he has more notoriety, he's older, he's an older fart. He has a bigger track record. So who am I to teach Warren Buffett? Okay, so I understand where you're coming from. Okay, however, it doesn't apply to you. If you were like walking to Warren Buffett's path, and you're near him, then I would try to offer you something. But your question is irrelevant. I will not. It belongs to the hypothetical range where I'm talking about someone who's not there and it doesn't apply at all because Warren Buffett is not interested in learning from me. Why should I bother trying to teach him? None of my business. Okay? But after he dies, I tell him which level he's at. And if he came to me and he says, a person at your level, this is what you ought to be doing. Okay? But because he doesn't understand, he's stuck at his level, and that's why he's doing all the wrong things. So the premise is different. Okay, he has to come and seek instructions. You cannot seek for him because the instruction is for him, not for you, not for anyone else. And by the way, his level is much higher than any of you, all of you right there, and go forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. None of you can come even any closer to his level. So why should I tell any of you bunch of lowlifes, things you don't understand anyway? Okay? All right, any other questions? This is beginner wisdom, folks. You have to step aside first. Force yourself to step aside, don't butt heads. And you know how hot it feels when someone yells at you for wasting things? Come to my kitchen, Way Mountain Temple. She blows a top at you, and you will feel the rage and the anger and the power of someone who's, the hurt of someone who's much more powerful than you, unleash their wrath on you. Okay? And that's how you learn. That's how you learn to deal with it. If you step aside and look at why she's so afflicted, okay, you have the chance for me to teach you. If you keep on fighting, there's not much I can do. I will let you fight each other to death, and when you die, when you get maimed, then maybe I can teach you. But as long as you're willing, you still have the strength to fight her. Good luck. You understand? Yes, 6.
Can we go back to the fries incident?
Yes, fries incident. Absolutely.
So
What are the details?
So I was the afflicted one.
Okay.
And Ray came in and he said, Wenbo Shen, I want to help. So Apple's mom was making the fries, and I felt that he can probably help with the fries. He says, no problem, I'm a professional at eating fries. But I heard that he's a professional when it comes to fries, so I let him fry the fries. When I turned my back around, he poured 2 bags of fries into a pot of oil, and the fire was not high enough. So I told him, I said, okay, step away, stop stirring the fries because you're gonna break the fries. And he didn't step away, he kept stirring the fries. And I got so frustrated and I could feel my anger coming out. At that point, am I supposed to walk away?
Okay, now we're talking about the person whose perspective from a person who learns how to step aside, like Master YongHua. We need to talk about the person who blows her top. That's different story, especially a person who has more high-level kung fu. Okay? First of all, the reason I tell you you're stronger, you high-level kung fu is only to remind you that you don't have the right to get angry at people, no matter how wrong they are.
So do I step away?
First of all, one thing at a time. So you do not allow, just the same thing over here. Or on the receiving side, you don't allow yourself to be the center. Same thing over there. You don't allow to be in the center. You step aside. Same principle. I step aside. Okay? As a cultivator, that's the first thing you do. But no, when you put on that role in the kitchen and say, now you suddenly say, I have no choice. I have to do this or do that. Okay? So you yourself put yourself in a position where you cannot put yourself aside. First thing, put yourself aside. I'm not going to get afflicted if they do it wrong. You know what? If you do that, it's very advantageous. Then you allow her to get afflicted. Because as long as you're afflicted, she doesn't have to be afflicted. You see that? You allow all the people to get afflicted because they're not trained by me. So that's all you do. You step aside, they won't get afflicted, that's the main thing. And all the people who get afflicted at him, they'll fix it for you. One tech will come in and say, hey, what happened to my lunch? Don't mess up my lunch. Step aside. Let me do it for you. You know what I mean? You only worry about yourself. You don't get afflicted first. The first rule, okay? Because as long as you get afflicted, she will come around and say, hey, it's okay to me get afflicted too. She'll come around and say, oh my God, these monks and nuns are so horrible. You know, Master says they're better than me, but actually I'm not impressed with them at all. I'm not coming back here. What kind of Dharma is this? Okay? So, but if you don't get afflicted, they say, oh wow, that's why Master says she is better than me. But no, you've been missing all the point all these years. Because when you're stronger, when you have more wisdom, you must yield. That's the first thing you learn. You yield to people. It takes wisdom to be able to yield and learn how to yield better next time. And you have nothing to worry about because when it comes down to fries, you don't have to do anything. Someone else will jump in and say, hey, get out of here, boy. Get mama, go to work. Huh? Daddy will do it for you. You know, you have plenty of people. All you have to do is you walk outside and they look at you, hey, he should come to you. How come you out here? Aren't you supposed to be doing fries? I said, I don't know. Ray's doing the fries. Are you sure? And they will come and give him a hard time. It's not your problem. That's stepping aside. Okay, and again, you have to learn to step aside so that I have the chance to teach you on how to become kinder and more compassionate. If you don't give yourself a chance to step aside, I cannot teach you. That's why it's so damaging. But I tell you to step aside so that you can learn to be kinder and more compassionate. And you say, but I need fries. You're so stupid. So do a lot of people, not just you. Who'll be, I be coming in the kitchen myself. What happened to my fries? Someone will break down. Let it not be you. That's all we can do. You understand? The truth of the world of life is this. We don't get afflicted so that Sean can get afflicted or his mother will get afflicted. They will. Because they're not trained like us. So don't worry about how can we make the world go around. Oh no, there are plenty of stupid people who step in for you in your place and get afflicted. Yes, 6.
First of all, I want to apologize to Ray for that.
Too late now. He'll never forgive you. I mean, you are supposed to have wisdom. And now he says, I don't want to be like you. What kind of place is this? What kind of Dharma is this? I don't want to be like you. If I progress further and I'm going to be like you, what the hey?
Second of all, Venerable Shentong was fasting. So Francis would be the next one to get afflicted.
None your business. You worry about your own affliction so that she has a chance to learn. Let her be just like her sister. None of our business. It's the same genes. More fun. You see how more fun it is? Instead of keeping fighting and fighting, it's just, no different from any other kitchen. We have so many dynamics, someone gets out of the way so that more stupid people step in and get afflicted. Give everyone else a chance to get afflicted. We don't get afflicted. How can you teach them when you get afflicted? Yes, 9.
Master, I guess it's time to confess. So I was raised being Catholic. Then I love the scriptures in Christianity, and
beautiful words. They're wonderful words.
Yeah, they are. They really
very,
are.
Very beautiful.
But now that I turn into Buddhism and I tell people,
even more beautiful words.
When I tell people Jesus Christ brought me into Buddhism, and at the time that happened, I didn't understand. But it seems that, and I heard it right now, I heard myself when I say, oh, thanks God we are here. Thanks God that I'm here. So I realize right now that I am so upset that outside the temple, because most of the people around me are either Catholic or Christian, and they knew me as Catholic and Christian, and now they don't understand the path that I feel so blessed and grateful for. And even people, when they have seen so many changes and they're like, tell me what you're doing. I don't like to tell them, because then they get defensive. They want to turn me back, but I'm at this point that I get so upset rapidly. Like, it's like I had it. And I guess I'm trying to find how to deal with that, because I have so many people, like I say, they're Christians or Catholics, and I do believe in Jesus Christ. I still honor him. I still have so much respect because he showed me this place. So when I came here, I do remember sitting down and saying, oh, I finally made home. So yeah, but I guess it's because they are fighting. Lately, not so much, which I guess because coronavirus, so we don't see each other as much. But it seems that I'm still have that, like, oh, I'm done. Yeah.
Step aside. When you feel yourself getting afflicted, step aside. And look at the affliction instead of your affliction. That's all. Okay? Don't get afflicted. A very simple rule of thumb. Step aside. Don't get afflicted. Okay? Embrace the affliction. And look at how miserable they are. That's all. Don't add to it. That's giving. You give peace. You give no fighting. You don't have to fix anything. Sometimes just stepping aside and listen, let them vent. Otherwise, they're going to vent on someone else. Then go home and beat up on the kids. So you allow them to dump it on you, you're doing the world a big favor, trust me. That's the start of wisdom. Don't add to the problems. And ultimately, not everything can be solved. Sometimes you just have to take it. Accept it. Just embrace it. No, for no rhyme or reason. Someone, they got afflicted, and just like the locomotive, they need to release the pressure. Otherwise, they explode. So, we happen to be there for them to dump it on us. It's okay too. We can take it. That's giving. There's no right and wrong. Okay. Yes.
Master, I think I got worried, so I called my dad to find out how he's doing. And he mentioned that one of my brothers was really worried for me because he found out that I was fasting. So that I was so wrong and doing this. But I do know the benefits because last year, it was my first time fasting, and I was able to experience and receive many blessings and have so much clarity, be at peace, to the point that my family realized that.
Yeah.
And it was less arguments at home. It has been so much harmony. So for me, this is something good for me. But yeah, I guess it was like, one more. And then I guess I thought of my brother being worried for me.
Right. Then don't advertise it. They don't understand. It's understandable. They don't understand. They're worried about you, and they're worried that we're some kind of cult who fast for whatever the reasons. It's better to stay low key. Part of cultivation is to stay low key. Okay. This is what I learned from Master YongHua. A Bodhisattva taught me that very early lesson, early on. He says, look at Master YongHua. You look at him, he's so unimpressive. He doesn't stand out in any way at all. Okay? And that's what cultivation is. You go by and no one even notices you. Okay? So that's why I do a lot of things. I always try to find to be as low-key as possible and avoid drawing attention to myself. Okay. The worldly people are just the opposite. Okay, so that's our small contribution. It's just to take it. Let people dump their afflictions on you, no matter what the reasons. In particular, I remind you that the world is in chaos, has a lot of conflicts because one party being dumped on feels is unjustified. They are wronged, being wronged. And that's why we cultivate. We cultivate in order for us to take it, to learn to take it. Every time someone wrongs us, okay, we become stronger. The more unfairly treated we are and we learn to step aside, you become stronger. Okay? And we are not adding to the turmoil and the strife and the fighting in society by just stepping aside and let them dump on us. Okay? I happen to believe that's very productive because, that applies to our own spouses. So one of these days, your husband will go back home and will get afflicted, and better he dumps that on you than dumping on your children. Okay? Because we can take it. That's all. That's our giving to the people we care. Allow them to release the pressure. Yes, 6.
From Peter, sometimes when I try to step aside from others' afflictions, like in a work meeting, my stomach will physically shake or feel heavy like a stone. Why is this?
Because you're not stepped aside yet. You're still bothered by it. Okay? Because you still have this sense, this is wrong. I cannot accept this. Whereas stepping aside is that, okay. So you misunderstand me. So you abuse me. You don't treat me right, or you unfair to me. You accept it. And you no longer look at yourself. You look at why. Why are you doing that? That's all. And eventually, you have the clarity of mind, because once you say, but this is unfair, you're fighting, you engage, then your wisdom cannot develop. Your wisdom can only develop because you can step aside and calmly look at the situation. Okay? Those are fundamentals. People go to martial arts schools, they go to yoga, they go to those things because they become stronger so that they can fight better, so they can win. No, we lose. We win by losing. You win because you're opening your wisdom. You're not creating offenses. And you're enhancing the kindness and compassion in your heart. Your heart grows bigger and bigger every time you're misunderstood. Every time that you're abused and you take it and you step aside, your heart grows bigger. And you don't allow your body to shake. You say, why am I shaking? It's nonsense. It's just words. No need to get afflicted. So they yell at you. They say you are irresponsible, you are selfish, and you are stupid. So be it. It's just one person's opinion. The main thing again, Peter, is not get afflicted. It's not about right and wrong. See, he shakes when he steps aside is because what he's stepping aside is really not stepping aside. He's actually repressing his resentment. That's why he shakes inside. Stepping aside says, okay, I accept. I accept your anger. Doesn't matter why. Do you understand that? That's called reason. That's called wisdom. So you don't need any reason. You simply accept it. A dog barks. A locomotive needs to let out steam. No rhyme or reason. It's time to let out steam. It happened to be at us. But no, you have to tell us, this is wrong, I disagree with you. You're so wrong. You misunderstand me. No, we take it. Yes, okay, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm very sorry. You're upset. Yes. That's all you say. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I upset you. Which is true. You're not focusing on what's right and wrong. You're focusing on the fact that they are afflicted. You're not misrepresenting yourself at all. That's called wisdom. You're not misleading them. Yes, I'm sorry, honey. Yes, you're upset. I understand. I'm so sorry that I made you upset. It's true. Please forgive me. I don't mean to upset you. So you focus on the feelings, on the afflictions instead of yours. That's how you diffuse the problem. Right? Before you used to come to me, but my husband is wrong. Right? He's so wrong. He misunderstands me. I don't know what else to do. I mean, how can he be so wrong? Embrace that. Step aside. Yes, honey. I understand. You upset. I'm so sorry you upset. You're not impressed? Wait a minute. I spent an hour talking about this and you're not even applauding? Oh my God. There. No, please. See, I step aside. I can't step aside. See, like this, I can't step aside. You see that? All right? Do that, you see, you feel so much better. Learn to step aside, like Master Shehwan taught, but a step further, I remind you, step aside and help them diffuse their affliction, release their affliction. That's a very humane, very kind, compassionate thing to do. They're so afflicted, they need to release it. That's all. No right or wrong, okay? If you people who cultivate focus less on right and wrong, instead focus on kindness and compassion, look at the suffering they're undergoing, their current state of suffering, makes you a better person. It's no winning. It's not about winnings, no losing. It's about empathy with someone who's suffering. That's all. You can't see their suffering. It's because you're suffering yourself inside. You're shaking inside because you're suffering so much you can't take it. Because you keep on thinking about right and wrong, fairness, and misunderstanding, and so forth. And you look at why they're suffering, why they're losing the temper. Okay, we stop here tonight. Thank you all very much. Good night.